Hi guys, Kim here. Welcome to Backyard Blooms. Today we're going to talk about birds in the garden. And me and my husband were sitting here on the porch the other day. We were watching the birds as we do when we come out. We have a ritual every Sunday or Saturday and Sunday morning, coming out, drinking our coffee and enjoying our birds. However, we kept seeing this woodpecker on the tree, and I was like, I asked my husband, I'm like, I wonder how come that woodpecker keeps going to that tree, because the other ones just keep eating, you know, all the bird seed off my feeders, and they've never like touched that tree. So he's like, I don't know, why don't you research it? So I pulled up Google and I was asking questions. I was like, can a woodpecker hurt a tree? And almost everything that I originally saw at that point was said that no, that it's very rare that a woodpecker would damage a tree to where it would, like, you know, die or whatever. So I kind of like let it go. And then I looked at him and I said, you know, this would be a good video. It would be very informative, because I've just never really know much about woodpeckers. I always believed and always had read that if woodpeckers are around, that your tree is either dying or infested with insects. So to me, that's my original thought when I saw this, what I thought was a woodpecker pecking on the tree. So right before I was going to do this video, I was pulling up all my research, and then I went back and I realized that this was a type of woodpecker, but it is called a sapsucker bird, which is not a woodpecker per se. A normal woodpecker would like feed off a dead tree for insects or a damaged tree. But a sapsucker bird or type of woodpecker likes the sugary sap in trees and will choose a healthy tree just to get the sap out. But Google says that this is, and I do quote, that a sapsucker is a serious tree pest. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, then what do I need to do about it? I'm going to show some footage of this sapsucker while I'm describing what a sapsucker looks like. The sapsucker bird belongs to a woodpecker family. They have long tongues, very unique feet, and they have a specialized beak. So how you know that it's a sapsucker and not a woodpecker is the sapsucker will leave these horizontal lines or vertical lines, and they'll be straight up and down. And that means that they'll like have the sap be able to flow through those horizontal lines, and it'll flow down. So also they like for the insects to be able to stick to that sap, so they'll also feed on that as well. The most common trees that they like, according to allaboutbirds.org, they like aspen, birch, and maple trees. Beech or elm trees is what they normally like. So I'm very surprised, and they did not list that this Nellie Stevens Holly was one of them, but evidently it has some sugary sap, because this yellow-bellied sapsucker sure does love these Nellie Stevens Holly. So now that I know I have a yellow-bellied sapsucker and I need to deter this from running my tree, what do I do about it? So all the information that I Googled says that you can put burlap over top the damaged part of the tree, that you can put a cloth, that you can use some type of reflectant material, because woodpeckers or the yellow-bellied sapsucker does not like reflected stuff. And the most common reflective material that it said to use was aluminum foil, which, you know, aluminum foil wrapped all around the trunk of my tree does not seem attractive to me. And it may be something that I may actually have to resort to if this cloth that I just bought does not work. So the next footage that we're going to talk about is what we actually came up with. We found some burlap at Lowe's, and I just really wasn't all that impressed with it. Actually, the burlap had quite big holes in it. So this 20-inch protective tree wrap is what we're going to try. I'll just have to keep you updated in upcoming videos if this works or not. Now that we've talked about what the sapsucker bird is and that it's a type of woodpecker, we're gonna try to protect this tree. So we went to Lowe's and bought this 20-inch sturdy tree wrap. We're gonna try this first to see if we can protect the tree with this. Looking on the internet, it said to use burlap or some type of cloth or anything reflective, like aluminum foil could be okay. But we're hoping that this is gonna work. This will actually flex with the tree and grow with the tree, so we don't have to remove that like we might have to with some other type of product. So if this doesn't work, we might have to resort to something else, but we'll see. So this is a Nellie Stevens tree. It usually doesn't attack this type of tree from my research, but evidently it loves this. We have 4 of these, and I'm glad that I actually pruned this in this lollipop tree, because we had foliage all the way to the ground here, you could see where we had pruned this up to make it more look like a topiary tree, I would have never noticed the damage to this tree. So we are using a zip tie here just to secure it, and then if it actually attaches it to itself, then we can remove that. But I'm hoping that when this bird migrates back to the north in the summertime, that we can actually remove this. But we just need to keep an eye on it. We'll definitely remove those zip ties as the tree grows, and then possibly we'll be able to remove this bondage as well. So these are what these Nellie Stevens look like right now. And of course I've got 4. My husband's working on that second one right there. And I'm just taking a good look inside this tree. They said if the bird nests in this tree that it might be harder to get rid of the bird. I don't see any nest inside this tree whatsoever. And those are the other 2 Nellie Stevens Hollies that we have as well. And I just have to show you how cute this is. Look at Sasha protecting her daddy right here. Well, I hope this information was helpful. I had no idea about a sapsucker yellow-bellied type of woodpecker. It looks like a normal woodpecker to me, so I was actually quite surprised when I started to Google. So if you see something like this in your own garden, just now that you'll know like and what to look for, that it can seriously damage your tree, and if I had too much damage on this tree, they can actually die. So I'm hoping that this works. I'm glad that I caught it when I did, because if I just let this bird just peck and drill on this tree and ruin all the protective part of the trunk, then I may have lost all these trees, and I surely don't want to do that. Trees are expensive, and I bought these trees 4 years ago, and they've grown quite a lot since then, and trees are a lot more expensive now than they used to be. So I truly love all the birds that I do have in my garden. I don't want to deter this from me having birds to come to my garden, because birds are very beneficial to every garden. They eat and protect the garden, and they eat lots of insects. So at the end of this video, I'm going to actually show some footage of the birds that I actually saw in my garden this morning. And I hope you guys enjoy your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.